Or at least we're at least streaming anyways.
Are we live?
We are live. We are live. Now it's time for you to do the obligatory
Uh,
check the YouTube on your end.
Look, man. Today I had a big revelation. To be honest with you.
You had a revelation. Share your revelation.
Um, are you sure? Are you ready for this?
We are live, by the way. But yes, go ahead.
What? I don't really care. I gotta speak my mind right
All
now,
right,
man.
man. Say it to the people.
Apparently,
Say it
selling
with your chest.
yeah, I will. So, buying high and selling low actually makes you lose money.
Whoa,
I was
whoa,
checking my
whoa.
account. Oh yeah, I thought it was the opposite way, but
What?
I checked my account and I'm like down 90%.
What? That doesn't make any sense. Wait,
Doesn't
are
That's what everyone's saying, but
you? Hold on. I'm just trying to understand this. You're telling me that FOMO buying a pump and then panic selling a correction isn't a profitable investment strategy?
I don't know, man, because I'm looking at my portfolio, man. It's just not looking good. I don't know. I'm
This
listening to
doesn't
all
make
these
any
other guys. They're
sense.
like, yo, buy at the top. Then next thing is sell it. And I don't know. I don't know.
Yo, yo,
Anyways, man,
yo, this
maybe in
is
this live stream we'll talk about it.
yeah, I think so. I think you're really onto something here, man. I think this is really an idea worth exploring because this is crazy, man. Because look,
Isn't
when
it?
yeah, because like when people were talking about Doge and it was pumping, like I FOMOed in 100x leverage, like I took out a mortgage, but then when it
Right.
corrected, I kind of panicked and I sold based off like my emotions. So
Right.
yeah, and I lost money. It's so weird how that works. I
That's
think
true.
I think now I could be wrong, and you let me know what you think. But I think
Mhm.
the key is to buy now. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Is to
Mhm.
buy low, and then once the price rises, you sell at a higher price than what you bought.
You know what? I think you're up to something.
You think
I
so?
actually think you're up to something, brother, man.
Okay,
Because my way didn't work, and yeah, we'll see how it is. Anyways,
we really gotta
guys,
explore this.
we're gonna explore this in this live stream today, guys. If you have a better strategy than buying high and selling low, let us know because we're really struggling out here. I think the whole market is struggling out here. People are getting
Oh man,
liquidated left and right. But good news, Bitcoin just broke out on the hourly, man. The past like half an hour, we saw some
this
movement to the upside
is
here.
a big
So
deal. Yeah.
it is a huge deal.
Yeah,
Where you want to start?
this is quite significant, man, because we are testing the 200 daily exponential moving average. This is extremely, extremely significant. Now, guys, folks, look, this just happened. We need more confirmation. We need hourly candles closing above this. So this could end up being a rejection, but we did put in a higher high. We are testing
Yep.
resistance and currently breaking through it. And especially significant resistance because we can see here during our correction, we fell down to it, held it as support, broke below it, came back up to retest it, got rejected. Extremely price reactive level, large
Right.
moving average on a macro time frame, and we are currently breaking through. This is extremely significant. Bitcoin
It is, man.
needs to flip this level to start looking bullish again.
It is, and it's like we're seeing that happen on lower time frames. So we don't know if it's gonna be some sort of a fake out right now. Obviously, the level we're looking at is the $40,914 to the dot. We don't talk about estimations. We don't talk about rough numbers, straight facts. It's the $40,913, and right now we're above it, and that's where your daily 100 exponential moving average is, man. So looks like we're above it right now. Is the first stop we're talking about. And if you're looking at a lower time frame on the hourly, you'll see that wedge. You see where that resistance is clearly. You'll see where the support is clearly. And we just completely broke out of it. So maybe if we're looking, I don't know, man. I don't know about you, but don't you think that something that makes sense, I guess, at this breakout is us actually heading to the 42,000, mid 42,000, mid to high 42,000 based on this breakout? Obviously, it's a huge resistance. So we obviously need to combine this pattern with the fact that there's a massive selling pressure ahead of us. But the fact that we just on a lower time frame did this, I think we could possibly get to the 42,000, mid 42,000s, and
Dude.
then come back down to retrace to come back to retest this, man. So what do you think?
Dude, it is so funny you brought up that exact number because that's exactly what I think is going to happen. Dude, you hit it
If you
right.
say, if I hear anybody saying exactly, I'm
Exactly as
actually gonna
predicted.
flip this. Holy.
Exactly as predicted. Check out our bybit link, 100x leverage. It's guaranteed to go to the moon. Definitely not risky at all. It's very safe. Please go ahead. Use our link.
It is.
Also,
I heard you can leverage your kidneys, by the way.
yes, guys, if anyone's looking to buy a kidney, I'm looking to sell because I'm going to FOMO buy this pump. Because that's what you do. You chase pumps and then you sell as soon as there's a correction.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So no, but look, man, this range is extremely significant because what do we have above us? The 200 daily simple moving average, right at $42,500. Just like you were saying, man. You're exactly right. The bullish price target for this kind of wedge pattern we were forming is right at the next major resistance level. That yellow line here on my screen, the 200 daily simple moving average. This yellow line is the 200 daily simple. Blue line is the 200 daily exponential. So for those who don't know, the exponential moving averages are just a bit more price reactive, and they follow price action a bit more closely. So yeah, man, no, that's the next major resistance, and it makes a lot of sense that as long as we can hold the line, as long as we can hold 41,000, basically 100 or 41,000, then we could probably test 42,500.
That's true.
Yeah.
I see some people in the chat saying, I don't know if Jason Foster saying, yeah, no way this is a bull trap. Are you saying, yeah, no way
I think it's been
this
sarcastic.
is a bull trap? Or is it more like, yeah, no way this is a bull trap, as in like we're gonna keep going up? You gotta explain yourself, man. Because we're hyped up right now. And you're right, man. I agree. I agree. This is what we need to be looking at. Obviously, we can't really see much of what's happening. Look, if we gotta be clear, the 4-hour chart. I don't know if you can
Go to your screen.
can switch to my screen here. The 4-hour chart is definitely has been signaling that we wanna go down for a bit. Yesterday we were saying the stochastic RSI is all the way at the top. We're saying that the RSI itself is all the way in the overbought region. Looks like we're trying to make we're just trying to go down. Stochastic RSI is telling us, forecasting that the RSI's next move is to actually continue to move down. You'll see it here, whenever those stochastic RSI is just a more sensitive reading to what the next RSI movement should be. Like MACD was down ticking, and you'll see here the fact that every time MACD is all the way at the top, stochastic is all the way at the top, you'll have some sort of, either if you're in a bull movement or in an uptrend, you either stagnate for a bit until everything gets back, until those indicators start telling you that we're gonna go up. I don't know, let's just see if we can pick it anywhere from here. But every time the stochastic RSI is at the top here, you'll see some sort of a short-term movement to the bottom. Every time it's on the bottom, you'll see a short-term movement to the top, and you'll see the all cross. So either stagnation or movement to the top or to the bottom. Obviously, I just said all the different conditions that might come up, but hey, man, just you follow the picture. So right now on the 4-hour chart, it's telling us that, look, we've been we're overbought. MACD's been down ticking, so we're losing that buying strength. Obviously, we've been going up ever since 8th of June, so it's been like a week or so, and we're heading towards some sort of resistance that we got rejected at. We came back down, stagnated for a bit, so it's only right for us to continue to move downwards. We're saying, look, if we actually ended up moving downwards, then in our opinion, we think that this low, again, higher low here, we would expect Bitcoin to come back down to somewhere to this level, to this line over here, maybe the 38,000, depending if that works out or not. So this is where we're at. 4-hour chart is telling us that we need to stagnate. We need to consolidate for a bit, and look like, now we're starting to kind of uptick a bit. Volume is trying to go up again above average. So look like, bulls might not be waiting, man. They might not be as patient anymore.
Yeah.
And they might be just jumping on the train right now. So ignoring the 4-hour chart. However, the 1-hour chart is right now. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at the breakout, man.
Mm-hmm.
Volume way above average, what we had before here. We're seeing some sort of retracement right now, so you want to see if we stay above it. We're just going to the green zone right now. Stochastic RSI was in the bottom. I don't know, man.
I
What do
love
you
this chart.
think?
I love this chart, dude. This is endlessly interesting because yes, in the short term, I think there is a very reasonable argument to be made for the idea that we could have a correction. Like looking at the 4 hour histogram's ticking down. RSI is overbought. We are right up against resistance. We did pump on a Sunday, forming a CME gap. There are a lot of good reasons to think we're gonna have a pullback. Also, whenever we break out, we typically fall back down and retest the breakout point. That's totally normal. So if we do break down, I don't think it's anything to be panicked over. I think it's extremely normal and should completely be anticipated. In fact, if we come back down and make a higher low, that would actually be incredibly bullish. That would be a bullish retest of previous resistance turned into support. And if we come back down and make a higher low, then the second impulse, the second retest of resistance, will have more strength and more momentum and could break out more confidently. But with that being said, we may not even break down in the short term, like you're saying. Going back to the hourly here, hourly is actually looking strong. MACD bullish crossover, RSI bullish divergence. This looks very interesting. Now, this wick here in particular, we're finding rejection exactly off the 200 daily exponential moving average. So that is the inflection point. Ultimately, guys, the more we get rejected off this, the more likely it is that we could have a pullback. Ultimately, we need to get hourly candles close above this thing. We need hourly candles fully closing above 41,000. Once we get that, we can be more confident that 42,500 is a realistic target. But until then, we just need to wait for closes above 41,000.
100%. Look, if we're looking even at the just kind of this just happened right now, guys. We had everything ready to go, and then we're saying, look, looks like we did form some sort of pattern right now. We're just zooming out like this. We didn't even see the candle. We're saying, look, sometime soon here is Bitcoin gonna go down or up? We're uptrending into a pattern like this, just like how we had before here, man. If we go maybe to the 4 hour, same thing, where we have a wedge, we're downtrending into it. We expect a downtrend out of it, and that was obviously a fake out. So this is the same thing. We're not sure. We want to see how that plays out. So this is the 4 hour, but even if we go to the 30-minute, right? So guys, we locked these indicators on the daily chart, right? So right now there's the 200 and the 100 is, where's it showing right now? Where's this at? Right here. So perfect. So although this is the 30-minute chart, but I have these indicators locked to the daily because these are the ones that we need to be paying attention more to the most. The 30-minute candle closed at the 41,167, which is still below all of this, but it actually just closed above it, which is something we haven't had in such a long time. See, even here we close, what do you close at 40,400. Right now we close at the 40,000 and 41,100. So we're seeing that obviously that dump happen right now. We need to retest this initial breakout. So once we come down to retest this initial breakout, are we actually going to see buyers step back in? We're seeing that happen. This is a very long wick to the upside, 13 minutes to go. Is it a bull trap? We don't know. We need to see if that actually happens. But yeah, man, we just need to see if how this is going to play out. We have 13 minutes to go. Looks like a lot of selling is happening at the moment. But again, we need to see how a retest. So we have a breakout and we need to come back down to retest. That's when majority of traders and buyers would actually come in. So this is just an initial test, retest, and then we move back upwards. We want to see buyers step in. Buyers step in, man.
Yeah, no, guys, the more times we test resistance, the more likely we are to break through. Rejection at any point should be anticipated due to all the layers of resistance above us. The key factor is just putting in higher lows. Rejection all the live long day is fine. The key thing is higher lows. Now, if we go back to my screen here, man, I really got to take a second to brag, because if you guys have been following the live streams over the last couple of days and last couple of weeks, you know already the key factors we've been looking out for to look out for bullish divergence. That being the daily MACD having a bullish crossover, being the most oversold it's ever been. We've been saying for weeks at this point, a relief rally makes a lot of sense. And what were we seeing here on the daily RSI? All throughout this year's parabolic growth, we were seeing higher highs in price action, but lower highs in RSI, classic bearish divergence. But what were we seeing here on the short term? Just like those higher highs in price action, lower highs in RSI constitute bearish divergence, the opposite is true with lower highs. When we see, if we zoom in here on the RSI, each lower high in price action actually corresponded with a higher high in RSI, telling us that the downtrend was running out of strength, that the bulls were gaining momentum. And so now we're finally starting to see the results. So guys, look, there's lots of like fancy indicators out there, paid things, market cipher, tons of things that people use. Ultimately, it's always amazing how impactful the simple indicators truly are. Bullish divergence, bearish divergence.
Just saying, you don't need to pay like $800 for a made-up indicator.
No, you don't need to. Hey, it's helpful, right? Like, you always want a confluence of reasons, but at the end of the day, you can get by fine with free indicators. They're extremely telling. Getting back to the basics, the simple stuff is extremely telling, folks. Higher highs in price action, lower highs in RSI, we collapsed. Lower highs in price action, higher highs in RSI, we pump up. It's simple, folks. It's simples, and we have a confluence of reasons with a bullish crossover in the daily MACD. Also, whenever we have a crossover on the extremes, the crossover is more significant. And this is the most oversold Bitcoin has ever been. More oversold than the bear market. More oversold than the pandemic, 2020 March crash. The most oversold we've been, having a bullish crossover, bullish divergence when we're extremely overextended to the downside in the middle of a bull run. Come on, man. Come on.
Come on, man. Let them know, man.
Let
them know. I have to take off, some of my... I have a sweater on. It's getting really hot in here, so we're back.
Yeah. And also, just the final bit of bragging here is, also, I've been seeing for weeks, if not months at this point, this daily RSI, folks, we're beginning to see bullish divergence from this resistance line that we've experienced all throughout the cycle's parabolic growth, all throughout this uptrend. Constant resistance, constant respecting of this trend line as resistance. We're finally starting to break through one major layer of resistance. We still have the ultimate layer of resistance from the kind of peak on the RSI to the next lower high. So once we break above this thing, folks, that's when we break above all these goddamn EMAs and we can enter price discovery once again. Once we do something like that with the RSI, woo, that is when we start to test 42,500, 45,000, 50,000, and so on. As soon as we see that bullish divergence, because man, it's so significant. We've held it as resistance the entire bull cycle. So the second we break above it and see bullish divergence from the resistance that we've held the entire cycle, I bet you that's going to be pretty impactful and pretty significant. I don't know about you.
Boom.
What do you think?
Boom.
Yeah.
No, I do think that you're right, man. But this is look. When you go to play, I don't know whatever kind of sport, man. No one can. It's like us saying, hey, get the best jersey out there and the best sneakers out there and the best, the best ball or whatever the case might be, and the best headset and all that to make you a better player. It never does. It's all about the skill set, and the more simple you keep it, the better it is, because with these charts we can put a billion more indicators out there, but at the end of the day, it comes back down to volume, MACD, and RSI, in our opinion, right? And that's why we try to keep it as simple as possible. And we're looking at the daily RSI, just like you're saying here, man. It's pretty clear what's been happening here. Like, I mean, if I'm looking here, it's a pretty clear downtrend in terms of the RSI, where the price. I don't know if you can switch to my screen here, maybe. Man, if you don't mind, because
No, bro, I always do. Your end always lags.
If you don't mind,
you just gotta keep in mind your end lags.
So whatever, man. So you'll see here, every time we have, this is a very textbook kind of move, where RSI, you're seeing clear lower highs that really do respect the price action. And then again, once you start seeing here on the lower time frame, maybe shorter time frame, we start getting towards the lower end, where the price action is over sold. We know we are oversold, and once it coincides with the fact that we're getting somewhere to an area where we see a lot of volume from before, there's a volume bubble around this area over here. At the beginning of the year, January, we went all the way up to the 42,000, came back down, and everyone's talking about that's it. Everyone's been talking about a bear market since January, right? And that's what it is. We went back down, found support at the 30K. So this kind of solidified the fact that there's going to be a lot of accumulation.
Yeah.
Because if we're looking at January, it's a lot of where the supply and the demand met at the $33,000 region. We're see here, if we even maybe zoom in a bit, you guys see it a lot on this live stream. And again, maybe something we need to drill in people's heads. I don't know, but obviously this thing moves so slow, so we need to see what happens. But as soon as we had this breakout here, this right here, this exact region where you see that the resistance, this pattern was, we had a breakout telling us that the supply and demand met at this inflection point, and we saw a change in the market sentiment, and we continued to push up all the way to the this is exactly the point where we actually started the uptrend. So this is telling you it's a very lower level from the 60,000, 63,000, 64,000 all the way back down to the 31,000. We're looking at like 55% movement. We're reaching an area where we had an inflection point where it actually caused us to go upwards. We're getting to an area where there's a lot of volume, where we know that. We actually even at this side over here, you'll see that Bitcoin's price action the buyers did not allow the price action to close on the daily below these levels, below this exact inflection point. So a lot of accumulation. Even once we downtrended out of this wedge over here, we're expected to downtrend out of it. We come back down, and short sellers got annihilated within a day. Everybody got short squeezed, and boom, we continue to move upwards. So that's saying a lot. This is the story we're having. We're in an area where there's a lot of accumulation. There's so many good news out there right now, with so many countries adopting Bitcoin, Wall Street getting more and more into crypto, major banks. We're talking about governments now trying to get involved. Man, I don't know, what else do you need to see? What else is obviously right now I see someone saying volume is weak, it's just over leverage. Sure, okay, no problem.
Yeah, we could have a pullback.
That's the same thing. No, of course, like, yeah, we can't deny that. We obviously need to wait for the market to speak to us. But then again, the story is coming out more bullish and bullish as time goes by. Right, so now it's more like you can actually have some sort of prediction or forecast of what can happen, because we've been consolidating since May 19th and since May 20th. So in 4 days here, it's been a month that we're stuck in this range, man. So you can make some sort of a bold forecast of what can happen. So
yeah, and look, yeah, for the first time since April, we're putting in higher highs and higher lows. And dude, I think it's actually funny how simple it is what's happening. We were overbought, we were oversold, and now we're going back up. It's so simple. We were overbought, we were overextended, we came down. We were oversold, overextended to the downside. Now we're coming back up. Guys, it's simple what markets do. And I also want to just quickly mention something that also I'd like to get your opinion on this, which is I've noticed that we're just forming a base that we're retesting. I see this happen all the time. Where if we zoom out here on kind of the historical price structure for Bitcoin, we form a base, a range that's price reactive, and then we come back down to retest it. Like here with this high and this low, this is we formed a base due to this price reactive zone that we later on retested. Over here with this peak. And these here, we formed a base, a price reactive zone. We broke back up, came back down to retest it. So my point is, Bitcoin always forms these base structures, these price reactive zones, and then we come back to retest. So over here, we broke up, came back down, reacted off the same level, formed a base, and now we're just retesting our base. I see this happen all the time. We just form bases due to price reactive zones, and then we come back down to retest. See, over here, we tried to break up, we couldn't, we formed a base, and then during the pandemic crash, that's exactly where we found our support. We always form these base structures, and then later on just come back down and retest them. So I don't know how much weight you place on that, but I just think it's interesting that here we formed a price reactive zone, formed a base, and we just came back down and retested it.
No, I agree, man. Look, that's what we're saying. We could be in a bear market, quote unquote, which I hate even talking about that, to be honest. You don't hear me saying that we're in a bull market or bear market, because I don't know. I just look at the price action, but I don't want to I don't like labeling the price action as either a bull or a bear market, because we only had 2 cycles. And in my opinion, obviously the market is different. In my opinion, 2 data points are not enough, in my opinion, right? So we didn't have a lot. It's not like we're looking at gold from the 1800s, right, where you have so much to rely on in terms of predictions, where we're looking at 2017 as the only bull run, I guess, with enough data points for us to take into account. 100% 100%. But with what you're saying right now, I completely agree. Even if we're in a, I want to use the market terminology, in a bear market, going back up to the 50K is actually not a radical idea.
No,
it's not.
no.
It isn't. We could have some sort of a move to the upside and continue, then get rejected off of that macro resistance we have from these, the 64,000 and the 60,000 region. If you connect those, it takes us maybe somewhere closer to the 50K, but that's not a radical idea. So, and I even see some people in the chats here talking about, well, this sounds like everyone bearish to me. And the pattern is the same from all other bear markets. Some people are in a short position, which is good for you. If it actually goes down 100%, all power to you. But I'm just saying, Bitcoin has been up since 30,000 all the way back up to the 40K. What, 33% movement? What do you have? Like 32% movement? And everyone's been betting on 25K, 22K, literally when we were here. Back like a month ago, everyone's talking about Bitcoin as dropping. So we don't know what's going to happen in the market. We don't know. No one knows.
Yeah.
But all you see is, all the news, all the technicals of what Bitcoin used to do from before. I don't think it's a radical idea us going to the 50K here, man, sometime soon, if we break above this daily exponential moving average.
Yeah, and look, man, I also see everyone jumping to conclusions. Everyone wants to call a bear market. Everyone wants to call a bull market. Guys, we still do not know for sure. Even with this little bit of bullish divergence and this little pumpage and this little new higher high we're seeing, it still ain't shit. We still need macro confirmation. Guys, there's no need to jump to conclusions. Wait for the price structure. Wait to see what we do. The price will tell us what's more and less likely. We still have not gotten above this thing. We're testing it, but we haven't gotten above it. We need to get like a daily candle close above 41,000. We still need to close above 42,500. We still need to close above 44,400. There's still lots of significant resistance above us. So although we're experiencing a bit of a pump, a bit of a relief rally here in the short term, we could always have a pullback. We still haven't flipped resistance. So, I mean, there are some signs to be at least hopeful. I mean, we're seeing higher highs, we're seeing bullish divergence, but we're still not out of the woods yet, folks. We still need a shit ton more bullish confirmation before we could be confident that the bull market could continue. We need to get above all these moving averages, the 200 daily exponential, 200 daily simple, and 50 daily simple moving average as well. For me, kind of the last stand, the last major confirmation level that we need to get above for this bull market to continue is this trend line from all-time highs to the next lower high. Once we break above this thing, come back down and retest it, hold it as support, then the bull market could continue. Because if we zoom out to kind of look at the previous cycles, look at 2018, the beginning of the bear market. Number one, we didn't just go down in a straight line forever. We had retests. And if we look here at kind of 2018, if we form a trend line from the all-time high to the next lower high, we came back up to retest. It got rejected. And that was the confirmation of the bear market. And look, it doesn't line up exactly correctly, but if you look at different charts, it does line up a little bit better. Looking at some, because yeah, this is Bitstamp, but if you look at like Binance or something, it's a bit more accurate. Same over here with this kind of 2019 false bull cycle. We formed kind of a peak. So if you draw a trend line from the peak to the next lower high and extend that, we came back up to retest it, got rejected, confirmation of the bear trend. So even in the beginning of a bull market, we did have a relief rally to retest this trend line. Twice this happened. We still have not had that. So these people calling a bear market, it's too premature. People calling a bull market, it's too premature. We need to wait for confirmation. We need to get above these clusters of EMAs, and we need to get above this goddamn trend line. Until then, people calling bull market a bear market, you're too early. You're jumping the gun. We need to wait for confirmation.
And look, man, yeah. AK is moist. Does not agree.
What does he say? What does he say?
So I think let's just shut this whole thing down, bro. I want to end the live stream. He's saying that 50% drop is a bear market. LMA.
According to you.
No, I mean, like, we gotta shut it down, bro. This is a very valid argument.
Yeah, I'm convinced.
Yeah,
but
especially
no,
when you have moist in your username.
Look, man, new things can happen, and bear market is ultimately a subjective term. Because to this person, his definition of a bear market could be, a substantial correction. But to me, what a bear market means is a, extended correction phase that lasts years. That's what a bear market means to me, that we're going to have years of correction and consolidation, years. And I don't think we have enough evidence to confidently call a bear market at this point. We may very well enter a bear market, but what we need to kind of to have some clarity of the state of the market is further confirmation, because there's reasons to be bullish and there's reasons to be bearish. So we need clarity, and what provides that clarity is confirmation with price structure. So we may just have different definitions of what a bear market is. For me, a bear market is an extended several year long correction and consolidation phase, which I don't believe there is enough evidence yet to confidently call.
100%, man. Look, some people are asking, do you think we're gonna go down from here? And yes, we said that yesterday, that we could actually break below. We're seeing that resistance. We're looking at the 4-hour right now. If you can switch to my screen before I go off on these guys in the comments, man.
It lags. I will always switch to your screen, man. Go ahead.
No, I know. Watch your mouth, man. Watch your mouth.
Go ahead.
Some of these guys are pissing me off right now, man. Now, we're just joking, guys. Keep it PC or whatever they call R-rated. Yeah, man, look, again, even if we take this away, right? We're just getting to an area where we are seeing, that's how we started the live stream, guys. We're saying we're losing steam on the 4-hour chart. We're losing steam. We said it yesterday. If you're watching, we could be coming back down to these lower levels. We could be coming back down easily to the 38K. That's what I'm leaning more towards. You know, if we're looking at the 1 hour, we had I think this right now just signal to the whole market right now. This specific candle signal to the whole market right now that sellers are actually just lurking at the top here. So you might as well not even try. So AK, yeah, on a short term, look, man, you might be right. You might make that $100 for $150 or whatever you got going on short position, 100%. But overall, on a macro picture, right? Because we look at macro pictures, we try to understand what's going on. We can easily see it come back down to the 38K. In my opinion, I want Bitcoin to respect this region over here. I want Bitcoin to actually come back down, respect that, and then form some sort of, I don't know. I think what could happen is that we come back down here, again, try to retest the stop, this resistance, come back down, get squeezed. And maybe if we actually get squeezed here, we might just get rejected more by the sellers and actually drop all the way down again. We don't know. We need to see what the market's telling us. So right now, in my opinion, the 4-hour is pretty telling. I'm seeing that rejection. I'm looking at lower time frames. I'm seeing on the 2-hour as well, just signal to the whole market. There's a hammer candle after us actually pushing upwards, that sellers are in the market. Looking at the 30-minute as well, we peaked that one time. Now we just came back down again and then just fully got rejected off this level. Now we're below it. So I think that, the 4-hour is still valid. We're seeing those wicks. Some buyers are in, there's some buyers are over leveraged. Is that going to push us back above the 40,900 or 41,000? Let's see. It might not. But overall, me personally, I'm leading towards a lot of, this is a big resistance we have ahead of us. And yeah, I would see we are overextended to the top. We want to see it kind of cool off for a bit. Let some of these guys, let AK get his get his short position, all good, leaves it, and then we see more fresh buyers coming into the market on a lower time frame. So the next couple of days, expect a lot of resistance. This is not just gonna peek through. It would be naive for you to think that it's gonna peek through. But again, yeah, this is where we're at right now. So overall, we need to see that play out. I still suspect Bitcoin to go back down to the 38,000. I'm not saying it's going back down to the 30K. I see some people in the comment section saying they expect some sort of a dip below the 30. So let us know, guys. Are you more bullish, bearish at the time being? Is it gonna break above this? In my opinion, it's not soon, but overall we will the next week or so.
Sure, yeah, and also there's a difference between short-term time frames and long-term time frames. So guys, like, we could have a relief rally that brings us to 50K, but in the short term we could have a pullback. So just understand that when we're saying this could go up or this could go down, sometimes we flip in between different time frames, and so we should probably be a little bit more clear how, yeah, in the short term we could probably come back down. We're up against resistance. We're seeing some weakness on the 4-hour, although the 1-hour seems to want to break up here. Ultimately, we need a little bit more confirmation. We're just trying to say here that if we cannot hold above the breakout point, I think about like 40,200, 300, then we could probably fall down further in the short term. in the short term. And as long as we put in a higher low, then we can come back up, retest resistance, and break out further. So just understand, folks, that whenever we go up or down, we don't go up or down in a straight line. We zigzag. That's the thing about technical analysis. We never just go
Wait,
up or down.
I
Yeah, go.
thought we just go straight up.
No. The crazy thing is, we don't just go in the same direction forever. We can be going in a macro direction. We can trend in what direction, but have pullbacks in the meanwhile. It's actually crazy how it works. So,
So,
yeah, man. No, look, that's what's going on with Bitcoin.
revolutionary way of thinking about things, man.
I know. And also, the market is still pretty fearful, but the market is getting a bit more greedy, which is potentially very interesting for the rest of the market, because altcoins have really been suffering, and it's due to the lack of greed. This market's driven by speculation, fear, and greed, and as soon as the market gets greedy again, I think altcoins are likely to recover. So the fact that the market is getting a bit less fearful, and the market is still overall fearful, but a bit less so, is very interesting to note. And ultimately, guys, we need further confirmation. The more higher highs we make, the more likely the uptrend continues. The more lower lows we make, the more likely it is that the downtrend continues. So yeah, those
100%, man.
those are my thoughts with Bitcoin. Do you have anything to add there?
No, there's besides the price action, there's a couple news stories out there that we'd like to bring to your attention. Obviously there's things outside of the chart that are moving the chart, so you got to keep that in mind. But yeah, man, there's a couple news stories I would say that we need to talk about. I don't know if you want to start with something, or you have anything else to say on chain metrics. I know you like that.
Yeah. So we'll talk about these news stories, but one thing I would add here is just the hash rate here. And while this is loading, okay, so we're loading here. So hash rate, guys, hash rate is extremely significant. Hash rate has been very much correlated with price action, especially as of late. This drop in hash rate correlates exactly to when the power outages in China first began. And as we can see here, the drop in hash rate started the selling off in Bitcoin. Now we've been seeing a bit of a recovery in hash rate in the short term, but we still have not put it in a higher high. We're putting in higher lows, but still haven't put it in a higher high. So if we see this trend continue upwards, then that's a sign that the bullish momentum for Bitcoin could continue here as well. Bitcoin held on exchanges. This is extremely significant because the more Bitcoin held on exchanges, the more potential selling pressure. And so as the price has been correcting, Bitcoin has been entering exchanges. People are getting spooked. People are ready to sell. People are ready to take profits or cover their positions. But in the short term, we've been starting to see Bitcoin start to leave exchanges again. So if this trend continues, that is a very good sign of bullish confirmation. If we continue to see Bitcoin leave exchanges, if we put in lower lows, that's good confirmation that the bull trend could continue, because the market is buying up Bitcoin again, and there's less selling pressure on the exchanges. So we want to see continuation of this downtrend, because that would be confirmation of the bullish trend reversal.
Yeah, definitely, man. Specifically for the hash rate as well. Obviously, we had that huge. We're still having it right now. It's still playing out, so we need to keep that in mind. But a huge crackdown on miners in China, which goes also in line with whatever Elon's been talking about Bitcoin not being energy efficient and not really good for the environment, and basically just because 60% of that hash rate was originating from or centered in China, in areas where coal power was being used to actually mine Bitcoin, because it's actually so cheap. So in certain provinces where it's actually incentivized for coal power, because it's actually cheaper. So a lot of these miners actually migrated there. They make sense. Power costs are actually less, meaning they're making more profits. But right now, with the current crackdown in China, a lot of these miners are actually pulled out of the market. It started this whole downtrend, those outages. Now we're seeing some, is the West or is Europe gonna start absorbing some of that mining power? Let's see. It might take, I would say maybe some sort of half year or something. We're seeing a lot of those miners actually migrating specifically to Texas, because power costs are actually significantly cheaper. In the US, some are going to Europe. A lot of them are trying to get based on energy efficiency, and it's being sustainable and good for the environment. So let's see if that plays out. But what's his name? What's his face? Elon yesterday even talk about if Bitcoin is 50% of Bitcoin's mining power is green or whatever, he's gonna allow everybody to, or allow Tesla to accept Bitcoin transactions or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah. Elon was saying that if it's proven that Bitcoin, 50% of Bitcoin mining is green, he'll start accepting it again. But honestly, fuck that
And
guy. Who gives a shit?
look, man, I mean, we all loved Elon back in the day. We gotta get him back on our team. To be honest with you, he caused this whole thing to drop like it's nothing. So,
Yeah, yeah. So why don't we start talking about some of these news stories here on your
oh, you
side?
just brushed this whole thing off, man. This whole joke off. Let's talk about the news.
I'm just,
100%.
it's just Elon, man. This guy, he's got me in a bad mood. That's all.
Did he actually?
Well, I mean, man, like he's literally his tweets drop the market at the worst times. This guy's tweeting like, man, right over here. If we go to my screen, just real quick, right here is when Elon tweeted. As soon as we broke out bullishly, like this candle here, like one of these two was Elon tweeting. So Elon flooded Bitcoin at like the worst time. Like this guy is actually messing with people's investments, man. Like messing with people's lives. And so yeah, I do not like the guy.
Wow. KD's saying show some respect for Elon, regardless if he's hating on crypto right now. So, you, I say we follow KD's advice here, man. Before
Well,
KD actually shuts this whole thing down.
if Katie says so.
Anyways, if KD says so, then we gotta follow him, man. But anyways, we're seeing a lot of more adoption right now, man. Especially with there was this bill that we had a couple of days ago, New York, banning crypto mining, and because it's not really good for the environment, it got shut down so quick. We're seeing a lot more Wall Street people, investors, actually join in to the crypto hype, I guess, and starting their own index funds and all that stuff. And what do we have here? I see Wall Street Titans back Bitwise in a $70 million raise. Bitwise has completed a 70 million funding round led by Elad Gil, which at one point he was the a vice president of whatever, like strategy development, whatever the case might be in Twitter. Electrical Capital, a host of recognized Wall Street figures, also participated. The asset manager offers crypto index funds to accredited investors in traditional finance markets. The funds will be used to grow Bitwise and expand its offerings. And we have big names. The firm announced that it completed the raise Tuesday. The 70 million sum puts the company's valuation at 500 million. Eli Gill and Electrical Capital led the round, while other participants included Wall Street faces like Stanley Druckenmiller, Third Points, Daniel Loeb, Bridgewater is David. What are these guys? Bridgewater have almost like 150 billion in assets under management. And Blackstone's Nadeem Meji. Sorry if I butchered the name. So we just, I guess, we'll leave these links in the description for you just to read up on it. I guess just another news story with more and more people actually migrating to the space. But what do you have in your end, man? Maybe we'll alternate between news stories here.
Well, I just want to maybe real quick talk about Bitcoin dominance. I did see a question of Bitcoin dominance, and I do think this is pretty significant, especially for the state of the altcoins. So I saw a question here by Delady Singer. How do you guys feel about the current state of BTC dominance? You think it's going to go up in coming weeks, or will it stay around these levels? I know it's just guessing, but still curious. Well, man, here's the thing. When it comes to TA, I think it's a little bit more than guessing, because you can make decisions based off TA, and those decisions can be correct more often than not. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, how do you know anything's real, right? But if you can make decisions that are correct more often than not, then I think TA is a little bit more than just guessing. But at the end of the day, nothing is definitely for certain. I like to think of it as probabilities. What's more probable and what's less probable. So right now, looking at Bitcoin dominance. For those who don't know, Bitcoin dominance is the total value of Bitcoin in comparison to total value of all cryptocurrency. Whenever it falls, altcoins typically benefit. Whenever it rises, altcoins typically suffer because money flowing into Bitcoin affects the pairings, it affects liquidity, it affects market sentiment. So there's a lot of reasons to understand. Well, there's a lot of reasons you want to follow Bitcoin dominance. This is a good gauge of the state of the market. So in the short term, I do think Bitcoin dominance pretty much has to rise, because if it doesn't, then Bitcoin isn't likely to recover in the near term, and is probably going to enter a bear market. Although, actually, if we do enter an extended bear market, Bitcoin dominance would Now that I'm thinking about it, either way, I think it's likelier than not that Bitcoin dominance will rise, because If we enter a bear market, altcoins will suffer more than Bitcoin, and thus Bitcoin dominance will rise. If Bitcoin has an extended relief rally, then liquidity will move into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance will rise. So whatever way you slice it, I do think that it's likelier than not that Bitcoin dominance will rise within the coming days and weeks. If we have a relief rally, it will probably rise. If we go in a bear market, it'll probably rise. So I do think that Bitcoin dominance coming back to retest around the 50 percentile range does make a lot of sense. We formed a base right around here. We form a reactive zone, and oftentimes we come back to retest. So we never retested this zone that was previously reactive, and so we might just come back up, retest it, and if we do something like this, come back, retest it, and then come back down. Once we start to see that bearish divergence to Bitcoin dominance and the move to the downside, that could be the cue that altcoins are ready to recover. So I would suspect Bitcoin dominance to rise in the near future.
Yeah. I think it's like at the end of the day, it just depends on how much market cap is flowing, how much is circulating in some of these altcoins. Obviously, if you got your money, Bitcoin holders are more likely to hold, their coins more than their Bitcoin, a lot more than Shiba holders, or a lot more than Dogecoin, or a lot more than all of that, right? So as soon as Bitcoin starts, as soon as we start having a bit of a bearish sentiment in the market, a lot of those people that are in these different altcoins, especially the ones with no fundamentals, are obviously going to start taking that money out quicker than Bitcoin. Then you'll see Bitcoin dominance start having some green days as opposed to whatever we got here. But yeah, no, I agree, man.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So do you have any more news stories? I know there's a couple news stories to discuss here.
Oh, 100%.
All right, let's talk about it.
House Democrats form a working group focused on cryptocurrencies. So Representative Maxine Waters, who led the House Financial Service Committee, is gathering Democratic House members in a new working group focused on cryptocurrencies. And the main reason is, as cryptocurrencies grow exponentially, I've expressed a deep dive on this poorly understood and minimally regulated industry, man. We don't get it. We're gonna attack it. And what was her name? Elizabeth Warren a couple of days ago, man. Warren, yeah. Man, that interview kind of her talking kind of gave me a bit of a cringy vibe overall, man.
Why? Because she doesn't know what she's talking about.
No clue. What was she saying? She's like, one Bitcoin transaction is equivalent in terms of energy spent, is equivalent to like 50 days of some like household using energy is equivalent to one Bitcoin transaction. And yeah, man, just painting the whole thing and a lot of FUD. But anyway, so Warren has long been critical of cryptocurrencies, but she joins growing ranks of senior Democratic Party leaders to speak critically on the subject in recent weeks, especially since ransomware shut down the Colonial pipeline last month. Maybe it's not the crypto. Maybe it's the shitty security systems we got. The cybersecurity systems we got overall are the ones that's the main problem. Obviously, not crypto. A lot of these the past month we had a couple of shutdowns on a bunch of energy production facilities. So they all got hacked. So don't blame crypto for it. Obviously, crypto is a mean of them getting paid, but they would have gotten that money regardless. So anyway, so that's one thing here. We got people on the fence about it. Obviously, crypto. And other people, other major banks, JP Morgan yesterday we shared, they're saying that the market slump right now is a good entry for them, and they want to actually start talking about or are putting out Ethereum trading and futures. So I don't know.
Whoa,
man.
Yo, hold on.
They basically said, look, the drop in the market right now, the slump in the market is a good entry. They're just literally saying, buy the dip, boys.
But hold on. This doesn't make any sense. Hold on. I'm just trying to understand this. Are you saying that investment funds don't FOMO into pumps, but they buy into corrections?
It definitely looks like it, man. It definitely looks like, based on what I've been observing here, yeah.
Wow, this is a revolutionary concept. So apparently what these people are doing in order to make return on investment is they're buying low on an asset with great long-term fundamentals, and then perhaps will sell at a higher price later on down the road. Is that what you're trying to say here?
Yeah, like I think so, man. I think that's what they're doing on the low. Keep
This
it down though.
this is crazy, man. This is crazy. We are breaking
Because
news story. So
breaking, they're very, very, very. Look, man, this has historically been the case. Everyone does that. It's not like a new thing. That's why whenever you see a lot like market manipulation, a lot of people saying, no, not really. You're just nah, man. Everybody market manipulates
yeah.
since way back, since the 1600s. Markets have been manipulated. So race used to get man, we're not gonna get into history lessons, but this is very normal and typical for whenever something starts getting to the mainstream. These big institutions don't want to buy it at high, so they start fighting it. They buy it. They believe in the technology. We're seeing here. What do we have here? We have banks of international settlements proposing hybrid intermediated CBDCs, so central bank digital currencies. Whole paperwork of just literally fully investigating architectures of the crypto market and how they can use it. You can't join it, so you can't beat it, so you can't ban it. You got to join it, and that's what it is. This is 40 pages of just literally Bank of International Settlements just overlooking all what's it called central banks and creating overall monetary system, international monetary systems, and we're all abide by the rules. So you're seeing that everywhere. China having their own central digital currency. This is everywhere, guys. So I don't know.
Yeah, man, and we're also seeing the news of what was it? Goldman Sachs the other day was saying that their Bitcoin's a bad investment or Ethereum's a bad investment while they were offering like Ethereum future options to their clients. Man, whenever you hear these people, these investment funds FUD any asset, that's one of the most bullish
It's
things you
crazy,
can look
man.
out for. Yeah, because
It's crazy.
when you hear Goldman Sachs saying that, it's telling you that they're buying as much as they possibly can behind the scenes. Also, I believe Tanzania is actually moving to adopt Bitcoin further, which is very, very interesting. Now, we have mentioned this news story before, but I think there's been some advances in the state of the story, and I think they're actually moving forward on actually adopting Bitcoin even further. So again,
Oh,
if a second country does it, it's a movement. So it's very, very interesting to see. Also, just something a little bit funny here. Peter Schiff tells Michael Saylor you already have enough Bitcoin. Dude, this guy's buying billions and billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. It's very hilarious. I love to see it.
what did Peter say?
Peter Schiff, because he's like the gold bug, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He says, Michael Saylor, you're truly insane. If Bitcoin really will be as successful as you claim, MicroStrategy already holds more than enough to make all your shareholders rich. Your actions don't match your words. These are acts of desperation to keep Bitcoin from crashing by buying as much as you can. What do you think, man? Do you think he's crazy? I think he's crazy, but I fucking love it.
Peter, can you open up his profile real quick? Let's just look
Peter
at
Schiff?
how old is Peter, man?
I think he's currently in the midst of
He
fossilizing.
definitely, I can 100% see him in the desert in a shack when he has like a box of gold that he's been holding since the 1600s. 100%.
Yeah.
There's no way he's holding any Bitcoin. That's for sure.
Watch him just buying up all the Bitcoin he can behind the scenes.
He could be, man. He
But
could possibly. He could possibly.
yeah, and also just in terms of adoption, man, Latin American telecom company accepts crypto payments through BitPay. Again, this is just the beginning. We're on the cusp of mainstream adoption, guys. We're on the right side of history. We're in the right trade. In the short term, things are difficult to call, difficult to understand, difficult to get clarity of direction in the short term. But over the long term, it's very, very clear the direction of Bitcoin and the direction of crypto and in the use case. Use case has never been stronger, constantly getting more developed. We're holding deflationary assets in a global financial system where the global reserve currency is inflationary. I mean, guys, we're on the right side of history, and those with a long-term mindset will succeed because the short term brings the lowest return on investment and the greatest risk and the greatest volatility. So why would anyone care about what happens in the short term if the long term brings the greatest return on investment and the least risk? Guys, we got to have a long-term outlook when it comes to crypto. If you're a short-term investor, you're going to lose. Your trading is a different conversation. But if you're looking to invest in the short term, I mean, look how choppy this is. 40, 30, 50% corrections. Can you imagine investing in this environment? No. The way you manage this risk and this volatility, one of the greatest risk mitigating factors is your investment horizon. The longer you're willing to hold, the less a correction matters. So, folks, again, just have that long-term
Right.
mindset. It's a marathon, not a race. So, yeah, man. Do you have anything to add there? Any other news stories on your end? Oh,
Sure.
seems like the.
Sure.
Can you hear me? I think we're having
One
a bit of
can you
a.
hear me? I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. We were having. Okay, I'm having some issues on mine. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, this Forbes on Forbes website. This is a bit of an article by Martin Leo Rivers, which I thought you guys might find interesting. Obviously, you can see I'm looking at shares and I'm looking at desks, so don't mind that. Let's just focus on what's important. He's just talking about El Salvador and what Bitcoin can do for El Salvador, and he had two perspectives that he presented. So we'll keep this in the description for you to take a look at. But so what can Bitcoin bring to the party? Two things. Short term, it can ensure that more of these fees go to their intent. So he's saying in El Salvador, basically the backbone of the monetary system is actually people living outside of El Salvador, sending money to El Salvador to their people there, and them living off of that. But he's saying that, using something like money transferring companies like Western Union, World Remit, Zoom, or whatever that is, they charge a lot of fees, right? He's saying that with Bitcoin, you can send this strictly straight to the person, straight to the intended party, and yeah, it would go straight to the intended recipient instead of being siphoned off by intermediaries. Longer term, it can also give El Salvadorians the chance to hold a currency that is designed to appreciate in value over time instead of depreciating. Wink, wink, the US dollar. The short-term argument is incontrovertible. Wow, I couldn't even spell that. Money transfer companies like Western Union, World Remit, and Zoom charge fees to send cash across borders. Their business is providing a service after all, and they need to get paid. Impoverished El Salvadorians are the ones paying them. Obviously, the people end up paying those fees, perhaps 440 million per year, just in terms of fees to bring money into the country. Given the global remittance sector's average fee of 6.5%, Bitcoin's network fees are a lot lower. So, this is obviously bringing something to these more I don't want to say poor, but more less developed economies. And it's right there. They see it, and we're seeing some sort of a dominoes effect with all these other countries actually hopping on it. But something to keep in mind. So make sure you read through this, because I think you really like this article.
Yeah, man. Look, and if you're okay with this, I think maybe I think it might be worthwhile to briefly just talk about some altcoins. Because look, Bitcoin fully leads the market right now. Whatever Bitcoin does will affect the altcoin market. If Bitcoin dumps, alts will dump. But I do think there's some very, very interesting opportunities given how much solid altcoins have dumped. So if you're okay with that, maybe we can start taking a look at some.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Well, there's so many different coins I want to take a look at, guys. Like I have VECHAIN, Cardano, Ethereum, Chainlink on my screen. I maybe want to take a second to talk about Chainlink, because guys, Chainlink is down roughly 52% from all-time highs. Guys, this is a blue chip altcoin, an altcoin with staying power, something that has plenty of upside potential, super solid fundamentals, and it's going to be here over the long term. And we're down 52% from all-time highs. Guys, bear market discounts and what could be, again, important thing there is could be a bull market still. So we're forming a bit of a descending triangle, or at the very least, we're just forming this resistance trend line. So I do think that if we can get above kind of $26, $25 with Chainlink, we could probably have a bit of an impulse up to around the low $30 range, around $34, $33, in my opinion. Bottom line is, man, look, I'm looking to buy the dip on a couple things, especially if we get more bullish confirmation with Bitcoin. If we can start flipping some of these moving averages, then I can start to feel more confident about buying, because right now, until we flip these levels, buying anything right now is extremely precarious, and we could 100% dump further. I think any purchasing right now should be done with the understanding that it's extremely likely that right after you buy, it could fall further. But again, if you have a long-term mindset, then the greatest risk factor, again, like if you understand the value in the space, the greatest risk factor, especially for me, is not having exposure to this market. it's extremely risky, in my opinion, to not have exposure to this market. But of course, this market is extremely volatile, and we could dump further. The bottom line is, man, I think Chainlink is something that should be on everyone's attention. Super solid altcoin, down substantially from its all-time highs. Is there anything that sticks out to you here, man? Anything that you think I'm missing?
No, 100%. No, I agree. I think overall, that's. I think you. Yes, I think it's more riskier to hold a dollar in your savings instead of actually having working something or being invested in such a new market such as this one. Because overall, looks like the market. Obviously, we've been all talking about market being inflated, and now it's getting a little bit hot with more and more money being printed. So there's that risk on its own that you also got to factor into the equation. And then obviously with something like this, especially with Chainlink right now, obviously it's one out of a lot more altcoins that we're going to discuss, but specifically I think we got a glimpse of what these altcoins can do in terms of the price action. All-time highs at $52. Right now it's $25. Right? It's just I don't know. It's just simple math. Obviously, we just need to look at Bitcoin, what Bitcoin is going to do, right? All these altcoins will follow Bitcoin's price action, and all these buyers will have a lot more appetite into these altcoins, and specifically Chainlink as being actually a pillar in the blockchain development sector of the crypto market. So very nice, safe investment. Obviously, you want to wait for what Bitcoin does, but you said something, man, which I fully agree with, is a lot of the people in the crypto space need to start looking or are paying attention to the value rather than just how much money they're going to make. Because just how much you think, oh, you're going to 100x, 20x, 30x, whatever the case might be, you're inheriting a risk of it actually going down 20x or 5x, whatever the case might be. So if you're looking at value and like the crypto space overall, Chainlink is 100% one of the ones you should be taking a look at. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, and if you understand the value of what you hold, then you can have the confidence to hold through downtrends. Because for those who don't know, Chainlink it's an oracle. It provides informations to smart contracts. So a bet on Chainlink is essentially a bet that smart contracts, their use case will continue to grow, the space will mature, and the use case and adoption for smart contracts will continue. That's a pretty easy bet to make. And Chainlink is the leader in the niche, a part of the ecosystem, the Ethereum ecosystem, which is the leader in the smart contract blockchain space. So you're betting on basically smart contracts continuing to have use case moving forward. That is a pretty safe bet in my opinion. So guys, this is a blue chip with staying power, extremely undervalued, and plenty of upside potential. Do not FOMO in. We're not telling you to just blindly FOMO in. We could be wrong. This could drop tomorrow. Ultimately, Bitcoin has still not gotten above major resistance. We need to wait for further confirmation. But at this point, man, I mean, this is definitely worth at least being on your watch list, at least something being on your radar, because this is so undervalued. It has such great value, especially if you have a long-term mindset. Understand what you're holding, because if you know the value of what you're holding, then you'll have the confidence to hold through downtrends. And also, just to give you a bit of maybe something more tangible in the short term, we're right below the 200 daily exponential moving average, this dark blue line. I don't know if you guys can see it. So what I'm saying here is, if we were to break out bullishly here, come back down, retest it, basically hold $27. If we can flip $27 and hold it, then we could probably see more upside potential, maybe test the low $30 range. But again, ultimately, Bitcoin is the most important indicator for the altcoins. If Bitcoin dumps hard, altcoins will dump hard further. So if you want to know what altcoins will do, follow Bitcoin. Bitcoin's leading the market.
100%. Agreed, man. Agreed.
Look, there's a lot else here I want to talk about. I don't know what direction you want to take this next. Maybe you want to talk about Cardano, Ethereum, VECHAIN. What are you leaning towards?
Let's ask the people watching. We got 100 some people watching. If you guys like the live stream so far, make sure you press the like button. Helps out with the engagement. Let us know what do you want us to take a look at. I know half of you, probably if not all of you, love with VECHAIN. So I see some people talking about VECHAIN. Man, you want to talk about that?
Let's take a look. Yep. Do you have it on your end?
I see it already pulled up, so we can start with yours.
Okay, perfect. So again, guys, for me, the main takeaway with VECHAIN is quite simple. This yellow line here is the inflection point, is the most important thing in my opinion to understand whether VECHAIN is bullish or bearish. This yellow line here is the the 200 exponential moving average on the 6 hour. This has historically been an extremely price reactive level. This, I believe, is the most reactive EMA on any time frame with VECHAIN that I've seen. Pump dump, found support there, pump dump, found support there, pump dump, found support there several times, even during this flash crash. Depending what chart you look at, different exchanges actually have us finding our support exactly on it. So several times this has been the most reactive level, the bedrock of support. And where did we find rejection during our relief rally? Exactly this reactive EMA. We found rejection exactly as predicted, exactly as we've been telling you for months, at the most reactive level, the 200 exponential moving average on the 6 hour. So for me, it's quite simple. As long as VECHAIN is below this thing, VECHAIN is weak and could have more downside potential. If VECHAIN can get above this thing, hold above this thing, get some daily candles, close above this thing, then we have plenty of more upside potential. So for me, again, simple. VECHAIN below this, bad news bears. VECHAIN above this, good to see.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is what we're trying to say in this live stream, guys. As Bitcoin is showing more and more bullish signs, a lot more people are going to be looking at these different altcoins. VECHAIN has been a slow mover for a while. Not until, you know, six months ago, start gaining a bit of traction. And yeah, just slow mover overall. As soon as the market start noticing what VECHAIN is all about, and a lot of, you know, VECHAIN, I think half of our, if not all of our channel is just mainly all the audience loves VECHAIN, so which is rightfully so, right? So as soon as we start now, we know what VECHAIN is capable of, going back up to a high 20 cent regions. And yeah, man, obviously it's just following whatever Bitcoin's doing. But if we're just looking, wow, this guy is extremely rude, man. Naked ginger poop.
What is he saying?
Just got me off guard.
What is he saying?
Forget about him. So yeah, man, that's 100% agreed. VECHAIN. I was gonna take a look at Cardano next if you're done with VECHAIN.
Let's do it. So Naked Ginger Poop says, y'all must be new to crypto, shilling coins like Moon Boy donkeys. Like Moon Boy and donkeys, guys.
Yeah, I love that.
Look,
That's funny.
We're all adults here. We're not here to hold your hand. You make your own decisions. The point of us doing this is that hopefully you guys consider the factors we consider, and you can incorporate that into your own research, into your own thought process, and become a more confident investor yourself. But ultimately, none of this is financial advice. You need to come up with your own decisions. Fuck what we say. The goal is for yourself to be confident in your own understanding. That's the ultimate goal here. So, yeah, man. No, do you want to take a look?
That's funny as hell, man. That is funny as hell. Hey,
Yeah.
I want to give him props, man. You made me laugh.
Also, that's not chilling. We can chill. We can really chill some shit.
We can chill. You haven't seen chill.
You haven't seen chilling yet. We can get to some chilling later, but for now, not a lot of chilling.
Anyways, man.
Let's talk about Cardano.
I want to start swearing on this channel. Cardano has been stuck around the $1.50.
Right.
$1.50 region. We're at the $1.55 region. We're trying to hold it with every bit of ounce of strength Cardano has. Obviously, a lot of development happening with Cardano, with the Alonso fork. For the past month and a bit, Cardano's been training a bunch of these developers on how to develop these smart contracts. A lot of positivity, a lot of I don't even know what I'm saying right now, man. We've been running this for a while. Anyways, Cardano, you know what Cardano is, man. In my opinion right now, if Cardano continues, obviously we know exactly where that resistance is. Looks like we're trying to hover above it. This is the 4-hour chart. We're getting rejected off the 100 and 200 EMA. Again, pretty significant areas where we typically find that support. You'll see how as soon as we break above it, come back down to retest and actually shoot back up. It's literally the areas where we actually react off the most. Again here, so it's only right for Cardano to still right now find some sort of resistance at it. But the only thing we need with Cardano right now, we know the $1.50 is the region that we need to keep in our minds here. The $1.50 has been the most reactive area. It's been where we're finding the most resistance for the longest time since the beginning of the year. $1.50 has been where it's at. As soon as we broke above $1.50, came back down to retest and actually shot up exactly where we said it's gonna shoot up. So, we're
exactly what we
predicted.
predicted.
Say I don't want to say much here, but right now, you know what Cardano's capable of. $2.50. Once you know what the funny thing is. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but when things are at a low, no one wants to buy. only when we don't get any questions about whether, oh, should I buy Cardano now? Should I buy VECHAIN now? Should I buy it's only when it's all the way at the top when you get a lot of those questions. Should I buy now? And we're like, nope, don't. Like, I wouldn't, I'm not buying at the top. I'm not gonna, you buy it during these times and you bet on it. If Cardano starts to break below the $1.35, I'm out, probably out of the market. But right now, I know what this thing's capable of, and I fundamentally has a lot of cushion behind it. If you go and search for Cardano, we're not gonna get to the fundamentals, but Cardano news is all out there, and you'll see what's been going on in the market for Cardano. And during this whole, I guess, bull trend that we had, this bull cycle, quote unquote, Cardano maintained the $1.50 pretty good. Majority of these altcoins went back to levels back in January. Cardano said, no, I have a lot of good fundamentals. Appetite for Cardano was pretty high, and it's arguably the best performer during this whole consolidation that Bitcoin had. Definitely better than what VeChain is doing, right? Definitely better than what Dogecoin did. So yeah, man, something to keep in mind here.
Oh man, yo, this is a professional operation. We gotta
business meetings, man.
Yeah, no, ultimately I agree with you, man. Like, Cardano's holding up pretty well. We do have Alonzo testnet for smart contracts. Smart contracts are supposed to fully come out August, September with Cardano. So look, Cardano's plenty of bullish catalysts ahead. It's holding up pretty strong. And so for me, in the short term, the main takeaway is quite simple for Cardano. We need to hold $1.50. That doesn't hold. We need to hold $1.31, which is a very price reactive level on the weekly. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks of reactivity off $1.30, $1.31, $1.32. So $1.50 needs to hold. $1.50 don't hold. $1.30 to $1.32 needs to hold. If we drop below those two levels, that is muy no bueno. That is what you got to know to understand Cardano.
Definitely. What's next?
Yeah. So maybe we could take a look at Ethereum. Take a look at Ethereum. All right. So let's take a look here at ETH. So ETH. Again, for me, I believe I've identified two of the most price-reactive exponential moving averages for Ethereum, which are great for calling short-term and long-term support and resistance for ETH, bullish and bearishness. So this light yellow line, this is the 21 exponential moving average on the 10-hour. Let me double-check. I was wrong. 21 EMA on the 6-hour. Very price reactive level, especially in the short term. We can see throughout our corrections, constantly holds as resistance. As soon as we break above, we impulse up. As soon as we break below, we reject downwards. So very, very price reactive zone for the short term. All throughout this impulse, we held it as support. As soon as we broke below it, beginning of our downtrend. So very good for calling the short-term price action. And then this blue line here, this is the 200 exponential moving average on the 10-hour. Let me just double check here since I got the first one wrong, I believe. There we go. I'm right. 200 exponential moving average on the 10-hour. This blue line here. Pump, dump, found support there. Pump, dump, found support there. Very good for calling long-term levels for ETH. Where we're finding our rejection right now, exactly off the level we're telling you is important. This 200 exponential moving average on the 10-hour. So for me, ETH needs to get above these two things. Once we get above these two EMAs, then ETH looks bullish. Ultimately, I do believe we're in a bit of a more macro range here. Resistance being around 2,900, 3,000, and support being at around 2,200, 2,100. So I do believe we're in a bit of a channel here, and whatever way we break out of this channel, we're looking to do so explosively.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hey man, did you tell me yesterday what were the gas fees? Was it on Uniswap?
Oh man, yeah. So I was buying the dip on like a lot of stuff, and $4 gas fees on Uniswap. $4.
Really?
Dude, it was like $200 like a few months ago. $4
That's
gas
crazy.
fees. Yeah, it's nothing.
Which would you use, the Ethereum or the
Yeah.
Matic?
No. I was using Ethereum, man. Ethereum.
Wow.
Yeah. $4
Wow.
gas fees. Yeah.
So
Man,
it is coming through, I guess.
Man, well, no one's buying. Nobody is buying. Which, by the way,
That's true.
when nobody's buying, when nobody wants to buy, when everyone's selling, when there's blood in the streets, when the horses are startled, is it usually a good time to buy? Historically, it has been. Not financial advice.
Man, look, Dank McDizzle does not agree.
What
He's
does
been
Dank
not
McDizzle
agreeing.
say?
And McDizzle, he actually lost me at McDizzle, but I'm still gonna give him a bit of credibility. You're just saying it could go up or maybe go down, as in quote unquote, as in that's what we're saying. That he's saying again, quote unquote, when it goes either way, quote unquote, exactly as predicted, quote unquote.
Exactly, and
Yeah, man.
use our
Yeah.
Bybit link to 100x leverage. The link for Bybit is down in the description below. Leverage trading is extremely easy to do successfully, and there's very little risk. And we definitely do not
No
make
risk.
money off you
Zero.
guys.
Zero.
There's
Zero.
zero risk,
Zero.
so 100% trade every little move with our link specifically, because we make money whether you make money or not. That's something you got to understand with these
Oh
Bybit
man.
links, folks. When you hear these people shill these Bybit links, they don't give two shits whether you make money or not, because they make money if you make losing trades. So if you're gonna make some losing trades, might as well do it with our Bybit link. The link for that is down in the description below.
I hope Dank McDizzle with 100x leverage or something, man.
Do it
I
with our
really need
Bybit
him to.
link. You got this, man.
Do
You
with
got
our
this.
Bybit in case, because you sound like you really got it together. And
Yeah,
you know
because
what's been
we
going
don't
on.
know what we're talking about, but you do. So
Dank
definitely
McDizzle 100 McDizzle
do it with our Bybit link.
McDizzle.
You got this, bro.
I'm gonna say it one more time. Dank McDizzle.
And
How
also,
funny does that sound?
by the way, there's a reason why we say price could go up and down, because that's in fact what price does. It goes up and then it goes down. It goes up and it goes down.
No way.
Yeah, in
No
fact,
way.
we never go in a straight direction. We zigzag there. That's why you'll hear a lot of technical.
Hold up. So you're
analysts say,
saying it can either rain or not tomorrow? The sun might come out or not?
guys, like we're like weathermen, right? Like weathermen have a good idea of the probabilities and what's more likely and less likely, but at the end of the day, the market doesn't care about our feelings, intuitions. The market does what it wants. We just do our best
Right.
job to understand the probabilities of what's more and less likely. And so look, man, at the end of the day, like, this guy's just being funny, and you know, people can choose to misinterpret you. At the end, like, there's nothing we can do about it. But yeah, no, if you're gonna,
He's saying I might join your Patreon too. Make sure you do, man.
you got to
Make sure you
join.
do.
I'm very glad for bringing. Thank you, Dank McDizzle, for bringing this up, because we're going to be bringing some changes to our Patreon soon, bringing even more value to our members. And so the people that got in early will greatly benefit from being in early. So definitely sign up for our Patreon. The link for that is down in the description below.
100%. He said that in all caps. So 100%, man. It is what it is. What do we got here, man? What else we got here? We're pushing the hour and like 25 minutes here. So maybe what else you got?
Well, I mean, look, like I have I was thinking maybe sharing some of the stuff I was buying the dip on, or at least some of the stuff I was forming a watch list on. But look, we have been going on for a little while. Maybe we should wrap up. Maybe share final thoughts, or if there's any questions, any kind of final questions here, maybe we can do that. What do you think, man? Do you have anything you want to get off your chest, or?
I think we said everything. Today's not really as spicy, besides the fact that on a lower time frame here with Bitcoin, looks like, you know, we had a bit of a break to the upside. Obviously, we're seeing some sort of rejection right now, so we got to keep that in mind. And yeah, 4-hour chart is closing in 9 minutes, and we're seeing a very, very, I don't want to say very, very, but there's a wick to the upside, telling, you know, probably signaling to the whole market that maybe you need to shy away for a bit here until the 4-hour chart, or until we have the MACD come back down all the way to the bottom, let all the sellers out, and then kind of regroup somewhere close to the 38,000. So we'll see if that plays out. But yeah, man, I think we said everything here. I don't think failed to detect your speaker. Let's see here.
Well, maybe on my.
You can probably still hear me, but my
can hear
headphones
you.
just got disconnected, so you can continue. Keep going here until
Okay, all I would say is, here in the short term, guys, this trend line here is extremely critical to hold, because if we do not hold this trend line after, oh, by the way, oh, do you have a control of my, anyways, guys, if this trend line does not hold, especially after we broke out bullishly and it seems to be a fake out up against resistance, then we could probably fall quite a bit more substantially. I think a retest of the original breakout point somewhere around this region, somewhere around 38,000, is extremely reasonable. Around 37,700, about 38,000 makes a lot of sense, and it does. You should not be panicked. You know, it's to be expected. We're telling you guys right now that if that green trend line doesn't hold, then we're probably going to pull back to 38,000 to the high $37,000 range. Something like this, a breakdown, retest this level, hold it as support, come back up to retest. Again, more times we test resistance, the more likely we are to break through. So I do think a bit of a pullback in the short term. is well warranted, nothing to be panicked over. And let's take a look here at kind of our hourly, just for a bit of confirmation. We can see here we tried to break out bullishly, we couldn't. We tried to have a bullish crossover, couldn't. We're putting a lower low on the RSI. Yeah, this is weak. We're right up against resistance. So basically, the last stand for Bitcoin in the short term is this green line. And yes, if we break down from this green line, we're going to go down and then we're going to go back up because we never go in a straight line forever. We zigzag. And folks, at the end of the day, nobody knows anything for sure. We're just kind of like weatherman, right? Like we have a good idea of the probabilities, a good idea of the
Talk about
important
yourself.
factors. And what?
Talk about yourself.
Talk about myself. What do you mean?
Being a weatherman.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to come up with an analogy here is all. But bottom line here, folks, these are the important factors. Ultimately, for us to be confident of the macro trend, we need to get above these goddamn resistance levels. We still have not gone above them. So, folks, do not, panic or FOMO. We need to wait for confirmation. Wait to see if we can get hourly candles, daily candles, fully closing above these levels. Once we could be more confident of the macro bullish trend. Until then, pullbacks and rejections should be anticipated. Expect them to happen. The key factor is just putting in higher lows. As long as we put in higher lows, then these rejections don't matter, because if we put in higher lows, then we'll just keep testing resistance. The more times we test resistance, the more likely we are to break through. So, guys, those are my final thoughts. Let me just read some of these questions here. Did you already have a look at Matic? Why don't we, unfortunately, you know what, the lady singer, we'll take a look at Matic for the VIP Discord group, because I think we're trying to wrap it up here. We've been going on quite a while, but we'll write up Matic and put it in the VIP Discord group. Guys, if you guys want access to our VIP Discord group, you get access through our Patreon. Link for that is down in the description below. BTC will crash. We'll touch 39,500. It very well could. Let's see what else. Buff on the Beat says, Fig Token, if you haven't checked out the project, check it out. Yeah, I don't know, man. Anyways, guys, look, I think those are pretty much all the questions. Are you still there, man?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you're okay. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it for me, man. You got any final words?
That's it for me too as well, man. One last thing I would just say, guys, for the 117 people that are out there, Heather yesterday, I'm not sure, but
Yo,
if you look
can you
at
repeat
Tether's
everything you said?
there was I think they either printed or why? Can you?
You're cutting out. I don't know if it's my end or your end. But do you want to repeat like everything?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like something to keep in mind here. With the Tether, it's just something to keep in mind. We just didn't really fully read into everything, but yesterday there was I don't know if you saw the chart here, if you can show my chart, but we had yesterday market cap at 62 billion, 62.6, went all the way up to 63.8, so 1.2 billion USDTs out of nowhere between like 2:30, like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then went all the way up, and then they took it off like nothing happened, like almost 6 o'clock. So something to keep in mind. There's a bunch of news stories out there about that, but obviously people are talking about it being used to inflate the market and then kind of let people get into the market as well at this stage. So obviously that's adding a lot more, obviously, with the USDT and Tether in general, and Bitfinex, less and less visibility in what they've been doing and market manipulation, whatever the case might be. Look, man, there's so much out there. That's what we're saying. We'll say the same thing. So much out there outside of the chart that you can't even keep up. So make sure you check that out. We'll leave that link in our Discord as well, and we'll leave it in description. But just read up on it and see what it is, because it's definitely something that will affect the market as well. So keep that in mind. But anyways, you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching. Thank McDizzle. I really hope you join our next stream, because I want to get you on a video call. So if you're good with all this, I see you, Cap. Everything is in caps lock. I want to get you on the live stream here so we can have a conversation. But anyways, man, I'm good to go if you're good.
Yeah, no, guys, look, a lot of passionate people here in the comments. 100x leverage is very safe. Do it with our bybit link. And ultimately, guys, all joking and silliness aside, thank you all so much for being here. You guys are the best. You guys are awesome. And until next time, take care, folks.
Yes, sir. Love you too.